If your baby stares at you like this, don't miss what it means. Sometimes the quietest thing your baby does is the loudest message they send, and parents miss it every day completely. A stare can look ordinary, almost blank, even random. Yet in that gaze, your baby may be asking something profound. Not for milk, not for sleep. Sometimes your baby studies your face to decide if this moment feels truly safe. And once you notice it, parenting moments change. The high chair, the diaper table, the midnight rocking chair suddenly mean more. Because babies do not stare the way adults do. Their eyes are gathering evidence, building trust, and mapping relationships early. In the next few minutes, one tiny look may explain clinginess, calmer sleep, bigger tears, and even a stronger bond. When a baby locks eyes with you, the moment is rarely empty. It is often a check-in, not a look. Your baby is asking without words, "Are you here with me? Do you see me? And can I relax now?" That sounds big for someone who cannot talk. But long before a language, babies read faces, tone, rhythm, and emotional availability. Their brain is immature, but not passive. It is taking in signals constantly, especially the signals coming from you nearby. This is part of attachment, and attachment is not a parenting buzzword. It is the emotional operating system beneath development. A secure attachment does not mean a perfect parent. It means a baby experiences comfort, repair, and predictability to settle. So when your baby stares, they may be measuring one question: what happens inside me when I reach for you? If your face softens, your voice warms, and your body responds, your baby feels regulation arriving from the outside first. This is called co-regulation, and it is one of the most important jobs in parenting, even when nobody says it. Before babies can calm themselves, they borrow calm from us. Your face, voice, and touch become their temporary nervous system. That is why the stare matters so much. It often happens before a fuss, after a startle, or during uncertainty. Your baby is not being dramatic. Your baby is recruiting help, using tools available: eyes, sounds, movement, and closeness nearby. And here is the part many exhausted parents never hear. That stare can signal connection seeking, not manipulation or neediness alone. Babies are not running social experiments on you. They are trying to survive, adapt, and organize sensations in real time. A newborn cannot separate hunger from loneliness very well. A tired infant cannot untangle discomfort from fear or overstimulation either. So the stare becomes information gathering. What does mom's face say? What does dad's tone mean? Am I safe enough? Sometimes parents think a baby staring hard looks serious, distant, or even strange, but concentration is a sign of trust. Your baby is willing to hold your face in view because your face is becoming their emotional map of life. And maps matter most when everything feels unfamiliar, which is basically infancy. New sounds, lights, textures, and separations happen constantly. Even the loving routines of a normal day can feel intense to a baby. Their nervous system is still unfinished. That unfinished system needs repetition, not perfection. It learns when distress meets comfort and tension meets relief again and again. This is where your baby staring during crying becomes especially important. They may be checking whether your expression matches safety. If you look panicked, angry, absent, or overwhelmed, your baby does not judge you, but their body still registers it. If you look present, steady, and emotionally available, something else happens. Your baby receives the message: this storm has company. That does not always stop crying quickly, but it changes what crying means inside the baby's developing brain over time. Repeated comfort teaches, "I feel bad," and someone comes. Repeated disconnection teaches, "I feel bad and I am alone inside." That difference sounds simple, but it shapes stress patterns, sleep patterns, trust patterns, and later relationships in surprisingly powerful ways. This is one reason responsive parenting supports brain development. Emotional safety is not sentimental. It is biological instruction for growth. When stress rises, babies produce stress hormones, like cortisol. In short bursts, that is normal. In chronic overload, it matters. A soothed baby is not being spoiled. That baby is learning how recovery feels, which is different from never struggling. That distinction matters because real resilience is not early emotional independence. It is the gradual ability to return from stress. And babies build that ability with help first. Your calm presence today becomes part of their self-soothing tomorrow later on. Now here is a surprising twist. Sometimes a baby stares right before looking away, arching back, or suddenly fussing hard. That does not always mean rejection. It can mean relief. Your baby reached for connection, got overloaded, and needs space. Babies also use eye contact to regulate stimulation. Too little connection feels stressful. Too much intensity can feel stressful too. So when your baby glances back after turning away, that matters. It means your relationship feels like a safe base. This pattern is called exploring from security. Even before crawling across a room, babies explore emotionally from a trusted person. They look out, then back at you, then out again. That tiny dance is early confidence forming in plain sight. And yes, this shows up around strangers too. If your baby studies your face around unfamiliar people, that is meaningful. Your reaction becomes social information. Babies borrow your emotional cues before they can interpret new situations on their own confidently. If you tense up, they notice. If you relax and stay warm, they notice that too, faster than adults realize. This is why babies can cry in one person's arms, then settle in another's. Their nervous system is reading cues. Not because one adult is magically better. Often the difference is timing, tension, scent, voice rhythm, familiarity, or emotional steadiness. Babies are astonishingly sensitive to state, not just action. Two parents can say the same words and communicate different safety. That is why a forced, cheerful voice does not always work. Babies feel congruence more than polished performance from adults. If your face says calm, but your body says panic, your baby may keep staring because the message feels mixed. That stare can be searching, almost like your baby is trying to solve a puzzle with your eyes right now. So what should parents do in those moments? Not perform, not overtalk, not panic. First move slower and become softer. A gentle face, relaxed shoulders, and a grounded voice tell your baby more than any carefully chosen explanation ever could. Then follow the stare with responsive presence. If they need closeness, offer it. If they need a pause, honor that. This is not a script to memorize. It is a relationship to notice. Your baby is always giving data constantly. The goal is not perfection. The goal is to become easier for your baby to read when life feels hard. Because a readable parent feels safer than a confusing one, predictability helps a baby settle even before the problem disappears. This becomes especially important during bedtime, when many parents see the longest stares and biggest emotional protests of the day. At night, babies are not only tired, they are also more vulnerable to separation, accumulated stress, and sensory overload too. So when your baby stares at you before crying at bedtime, they may ask one last question. Are you staying? That does not mean you can never put a baby down. It means transitions feel easier when connection comes first. A short pause for eye contact, warm words, and steady touch can change how the nervous system experiences separation later. This is also why rushed caregiving can feel bigger to babies than adults expect. Fast hands sometimes feel like absence. Not because speed is cruel, but because babies use tiny details to predict what happens next and whether support remains. Even loving parents become hurried, distracted, and stretched thin. That is real life. Babies do not need saints, only repair. Repair is one of the most underrated ideas in parenting. It means reconnecting after mismatch, not pretending mismatch never happened. If you were stressed, abrupt, or emotionally unavailable for a moment, the story is not over. Reconnection still teaches safety. A softened face after tension, a calm return after delay, or a loving apology to an infant still matters deeply. Yes, even before language, your baby does not understand words, but your baby understands the emotional shift immediately and deeply. That shift can lower tension in both of you. Oxytocin rises during warm connection, helping bonding feel physically real again. Bonding is not just a sweet feeling parents talk about. It is chemistry, rhythm, memory, and repeated emotional relief together. And babies remember with their bodies long before they remember with stories. That is why ordinary interactions matter so much. The way you lean in during distress may not become a conscious memory, but it becomes a pattern underneath memory. And those patterns shape expectations. When I am uncomfortable, does someone notice? When I reach, does someone meet me there? This is why one intense glance from your baby can feel strangely emotional for you too. Your body recognizes importance. Parents often say, "It felt like my baby was looking into me." That feeling is not silly. It is relational. Humans are wired for face-to-face connection from the beginning. The baby's stare reaches something ancient in the parent's nervous system. That is part of why these moments can heal, and part of why they can overwhelm. They feel deeply consequential. If you grew up with inconsistent comfort yourself, your baby's stare may stir anxiety you cannot immediately explain at all. That does not make you a bad parent. It means parenting can awaken attachment stories while new ones are forming. Sometimes the stare you find hardest to tolerate is the one that needs you most. That realization can be tender. Because underneath the intensity is dependence, not accusation. Your baby is not exposing your flaws. Your baby is seeking anchoring. And once you understand that, the stare feels less mysterious. Still powerful, yes, but no longer emotionally hostile to you. So if your baby stares with wide eyes and a quiet face, do not rush past it. Stay curious first. Ask yourself, what might my baby be reading right now? What might my baby be needing beneath this moment today? Maybe it is reassurance. Maybe it is recovery after too much stimulation. Maybe it is a small bid for connection. Maybe your baby is saying, "Help me settle." Maybe your baby is saying, "Stay emotionally close while I organize myself." Or maybe your baby is simply memorizing you. The eyes, the mouth, the voice, the face that keeps returning home. That returning matters more than flawless technique. Babies thrive with caregivers who come back, tune back in, and reconnect again. So if today has been messy, noisy, and imperfect, do not assume the day is lost. One warm moment counts. One steady gaze returned with love can interrupt stress and restore connection. Not forever, but enough for this moment today. And that is often how healthy attachment grows, not through grand gestures, but through small repairs repeated so often daily. Your baby does not need a perfect emotional climate. Your baby needs enough safety to believe comfort can be found. And every time your baby stares and finds you emotionally there, that belief becomes a little stronger in their body. Later, that strength may look like confidence, better recovery, easier trust, and a child who expects relationships to feel safe. Not because you solved every cry perfectly, because over time, your baby learned a deep truth about being held close. I can fall apart, and connection can still find me. That is one of the strongest lessons infancy can teach. So the next time your baby pauses and looks at you in that unusually focused way, do not dismiss it. You may be witnessing a need, a trust exercise, a safety check, or a tiny act of love in progress. And if you answer with presence instead of pressure, your baby is not the only one who changes there too. Parents change to these moments too. We become more observant, more regulated, and more aware of what love actually does. Love is not only affection. In infancy, love is translation. It is reading behavior gently enough to hear meaning clearly. And sometimes the meaning is hidden in silence, inside a stare so quiet the whole room almost misses it completely. But now you know better. That look may be your baby's way of finding safety, borrowing calm, and building attachment. So meet it when you can, not perfectly, not theatrically, just honestly, warmly, and with the steadiness of someone staying. Because for a baby, the face that stays soft in hard moments becomes more than familiar. It becomes emotional home. And home is not a place your baby understands later. Home is a feeling your baby begins learning now inside. Maybe that is the deepest meaning in the stare. Your baby is not looking at you. Your baby is becoming.